A lot of work goes into these slices, so they're quite expensive. I guess this one would cost you between 3,000 and 4,000 euros. A slice across the heart costs about 300 euros. And across the stomach, which is less interesting, would be about 150 euros. Ever heard of Dr. Mengele? We have another one. Guben, East Germany, a dilapidated place. After the reunification of Germany, a third of the inhabitants left town. There wasn't any work. But last week, a new factory opened its doors. A corpse factory. I enjoy the work. You need a lot of patience though. At last, Olaf Rick has a job again. For 13 hours a day, he removes fats and connective tissues from corpses. Do you enjoy your dinner after work? Certainly, no problem. It's just a regular job. I preserve corpses. It doesn't matter to me whether they were human beings once. The Corpse Factory, a kind of amusement park employing 300 inhabitants of Guben who plastinate dead bodies, which means replacing the natural body fluids with a solid plastic, preserving them for eternity. It enables corpses to be displayed in spectacular positions in museums. If you want to be a good teacher, you have to be spectacular. I was a university anatomist for 20 years. I've always been a showman. If I wanted to demonstrate something, I turned it into a bit of an event. Dr. Gunther von Hagens wants to teach people about anatomy. This is what we look like on the inside. The plastination technique isn't new. Scientists have been doing it for years. More and more museums are exhibiting preserved bodies these days. But in Guben, people can actually see corpses being dissected and plastinated. Quite a novelty for the general public, Von Hagen says. Why not make a living out of it? Nothing in life is free, especially not death. The collection bags are even passed around church when there's a funeral. Undertakers get paid, and so do anatomists. So why shouldn't I be allowed to accept money from people who visit here? The skin has been taken off this head. The eyes, nose and mouth are still there. The pins are there to hold it together. They are taken out when it's all hard. But it's his own skin? Yes, from the skull. And the head will be put on top of that specimen. Von Hagens even takes it a step further. Not only does he offer the public a chance to watch the actual plastination, the corpses can even be purchased in 2mm thin slices. How many slices are you planning to sell? In about 5 years' time, I hope to be selling about 500,000 a year. I've been doing some calculating. If he says he sells 500,000 slices a year, I've calculated that it amounts to 100 corpses a day.
En dan moet je terugrekenen. En dan kom je op 100 lijken per dag.
It's madness. 100 corpses a day going through a circular saw.
Die gaan dan door het cirkelzaag.
So.
Dieter Stoll and his Dutch wife moved to Guben not long ago. They bought this immense villa for next to nothing. But ever since their new neighbours moved in, they want to leave town.
Daar wordt een
He knows no bounds, and it's scaring us. I draw the line when a deceased person's body is used to generate commercial value.
Een overledene ausslachten om daarmee geld te verdienen.
Walking through town or going for a pint or whatever I do, I'm constantly reminded of this Von Hagens.
Geconfronteerd met Von Hagen.
The other day I was in the butcher's on a Saturday morning to buy a couple of hamburgers. When I turned around, this corpse was grinning down at me. It was awful. Dieter isn't the only one objecting to Von Hagen's activities. The local church has its objections too. For each new body in the plastinarium, the vicar lights a candle. He fails to treat the deceased with proper honor and respect, as we have been doing for thousands of years.
Die jahrtausendelang gewachsen ist bei uns Menschen gegenüber Verstorbenen. Und das
he's doing it deliberately. To him, it's a means to earn a lot of money.
Das der Grund und das Mittel, mit dem sein Geld, das große Geld machen möchte.
I am very respectful. I know most of my donors personally. We meet on a regular basis. We have long discussions by letter. And most ladies and gentlemen on exhibition here, whether as a whole or in parts, agreed to be exhibited when they were still alive.
Haben sich zu Lebzeiten nach dem Besuch der Ausstellung bereit erklärt.
According to Von Hagens, corpses are never exhibited without their consent. They made their bodies available to him by means of a codicil. Are you paid beforehand if you agree to have your body preserved? No, it's all voluntary. Von Hagens claims there are 6,000 volunteers on his waiting list. He hopes the exhibition will produce even more, and it seems to be working. Do you want to be on the list too? Yes, I've made up my mind, but I haven't discussed it with my family yet. Von Hagens can do with him whatever he likes, but this gentleman has his own ideas. I love working with model trains. There was this picture in the paper of me at a model railway station. I would like to be displayed like that, for instance. Very simple. But what happens if a volunteer takes 30 years to die? He'll have to wait a very long time for him to die before he can start slicing him up. But he needs him right now. Where does he get his corpses from now? There's something wrong. Where does he get them from then? We believe they all come from China. Let me assure you once and for all the preserved bodies on display here have been donated in Germany. Were they all German, or were some of them foreign? Of the 6,500 donors on the program in Germany, the majority are German. But I don't want to be a post-mortem racist. His bodymobile is always on standby to collect a body, whether you are Dutch or Chinese. Chinese prisoners? Not one court case has been able to prove it. This is just the beginning. Yes, yes. He is taking it much too far. At the moment, he has plans to do Jesus on the cross. And also, let me say this nicely, a pornographic display. Just say it. People making love. Just say it. People having sex. If ever I would exhibit or plastinate a sexual act, I would have to do it to educate people. And if there is an evident link between sensation and information about AIDS, for instance,
Aufklärung, hier insbesondere AIDS-Aufklärung ist.
If ever I would, it would have to be so informative and aesthetic. Mothers would want it to serve as a lesson to their kids.
Ist, dass die Mütter mit ihren Kindern herkommen und sie sagen, pass mal auf, hier, das solltest du auch mal sehen.
There is a lot of space here. We want to have a youth hostel so school classes can come and spend the night.
Schulklassen hier übernachten können, so im Sinne von Fieldtrips, wie es in den USA.
He has a lot of plans, but how can the law approve of all this? German laws for undertaking are very strict, even when donors have agreed to everything. But Von Hagens has found a loophole in the legislation.
Nou is het gekke,
The stupid thing
als je
is,
die lijk
if you
neemt
take a corpse and plunge it into
en die
formalin,
ga je in formaline
it's no longer
leggen,
called a corpse.
is het geen lijk meer. Want
The
dan,
moment
op
it's
het
immersed in
moment
formalin, it has
dat die
become a
in
specimen.
formaline ligt, wordt het een preparaat.
There is a big difference for
Dat
the
is een
law.
heel groot verschil.
Voor de
Die
wet.
Van Hagens,
You will never hear
zou
Von
je
Hagens
ook
use the
nooit
word
horen
corpse.
over lijken. Hij heeft het altijd
He
over
always talks about
preparaten.
specimens.
En nou is het grote probleem.
The big problem is there is absolutely no law that tells us what you can or cannot do with a
Maar
specimen.
ook helemaal niets geregeld. Wat mag met een preparaat gebeuren of wat mag niet gebeuren. Daar staat niks.
In diese wird dann hier
This is
oben
filled with
Flüssigkeit
liquid.
reingegossen. Ja?
The slice is completely
Diese
filled with synthetic material.
Scheibe wird dann voll mit Kunststoff gefüllt.
As you can see here, they aren't corpses. They're plastinates. They have a new
Für mich
quality.
sind das keine Leichen, für mich das
The
Plastinate.
skeleton isn't a corpse either. It has a new quality.
Qualität, so wie ein
The
Skelett
same applies to
auch
plastinates because they can be
eine Leiche
preserved
ist,
like
es ist
mummies.
eine neue Qualität. So sind auch Plastinate, weil sie eben dauerhaft haltbar sind, so wie Mumien.
Aber sie waren
But they used to be
Sie
people.
waren Menschen, sie haben
True,
eine neue Qualität
but now they have a new
erreicht, so
quality.
wie ich auf einem
Just like a
Teller,
steak on your plate has become a piece of
ein
meat
Schnitzel
and is
habe,
no
ein
longer a
Stück
cadaver.
Fleisch und kein Kadaverstück.
Sie wissen, dass das ein Mensch war.
But you know it used to be a person. Used to be, yes. Now it's a specimen. All employees have gone through the drill. Specimens have no rights, but they look nice hanging in front of your window.
Würden Sie so eine Scheibe kaufen?
Would you like to buy a slice like that? It depends on the price. I would like to, but I'm sure they are very expensive. If they were cheap, I would like to buy one. On the other side of the river, in the Polish Catholic part of Guben, Von Hagens made an attempt too, but he was all but run out of town there because of moral objections. The vicar regrets he was successful in his Germany.
Der Artikel 1
The German
des
Constitution
deutschen
states that human
Grundgesetzes, die
dignity
Würde
is
des Menschen
untouchable.
ist unantastbar.
This
Der
was
ist
drawn up
formuliert
after the
worden
experiences in the
aufgrund der
times of the
Erfahrungen
Nazis.
der Nazizeit. Und die
The Nazis stated that certain
Nationalsozialisten
groups of
haben
people
zuerst
were
bestimmten
unworthy in
Menschengruppen
order to
ihre
treat
Würde
them and murder
abgesprochen,
them as if they
um
weren't
sie
human
dann
beings.
behandeln zu können, umbringen zu können und behandeln zu können, als wären sie keine Menschen. Und es gibt Leute, die
Some
sagen,
people say,
durch
look,
diese,
if someone is wearing
das,
his
was
skin
dort
over his
macht,
arm,
da trägt
it
er
reminds us
seine
of what
Haut
happened
über
in the
dem Arm.
concentration
Das
camps
erinnert uns
when they used to
daran,
make
dass in
lampshades out of
bestimmten
human skins.
Konzentrationslagern Lampenschirme angefertigt wurden aus Menschenhaut.
Man nennt sie
They call you
Dr.
Dr. Death.
Sind Sie
Are you proud of
stolz auf
that?
so einen Namen?
People
Man
are scared
hat
of
ein
you.
bisschen Angst für Sie.
Ich finde es beschämend, wenn ich Dr.
I'm
Tod
ashamed that people
genannt
call me
werde,
that, because
denn
it's
Dr.
what they
Tod
called the Nazi
ist
doctors.
bekannter Ausdruck für
And this exhibition is completely and
Naziärzte
fundamentally
und
different from the horrors of the
die
Nazi regime.
Ausstellung unterscheidet sich mehr als fundamental von
Millions of people
dem
were
Gräuel des
gassed,
Naziregimes.
and here
Damals wurden
people made a
Millionen
conscious
Menschen,
choice while they were still alive
vergast,
to become an
während
educational
in der-
example for
unserer
the future
Ausstellung
generation
ganz
and to
bewusst
benefit the public.
Körperspender zu Lebzeiten sich entscheiden, ich möchte als zum Lehrzweck mich ganz bewusst in die nächste Generation stellen, zum Wohle der Gesellschaft.
Ja, danke.
This is unacceptable to the Stoll family. They will continue their protest.
Word wakker.
Wake up. In the Netherlands or wherever you are in the world, wake
Waar
up.
dan ook ter wereld.
Send us a letter of protest. Tell Germany to put an end to it once and for all.
Protest. Duitsland op zijn flikker geven. En goed dat het stopt.
That's our goal.
Dat is ons doelstelling.
However, for now they can't stop Von Hagens playing with his corpses.
Und wer gewinnt?
And who are the winners?
Die Toten gewinnen immer.
The dead
denn
always win,
das Leben
because
ist
life
kurz
is too
und
short.
selten.
Which will be able to accept funny for easy to